Picture this: a crowded street, merchants calling over one another, wheels striking stone, buyers arguing over price. Somewhere in the noise, a man spots you from across the road. His face changes. He smiles. He pushes through the crowd as if he has been searching for you all day. For 1 second you think, "He remembered me." Then he reaches you, lowers his voice and says, "I need something." And suddenly the whole warmth of the greeting makes sense. You know this person. Maybe not this exact face, but this pattern. They appear when the car will not start, when money runs short, when they need a connection, a place, a favor, an answer, a hand at midnight, and you help, because helping is not beneath you, because being useful is not shameful, because a person who can carry something for another has been given something valuable. But then the task is done. The smile fades, the message is slow, the road between you grows empty again, until the next need. Now here is the question. How many times can someone remember your usefulness before you begin to mistake it for love? How many times can a person praise your hand, your time, your patience, your strength, while never really turning toward you? This video is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is not about punishing people for asking, and it is not about becoming the coldest person in the room. It is about seeing clearly, because a generous person without clarity becomes easy to spend, and a wounded person without discipline becomes easy to turn bitter. We are going to walk through 7 signs that someone may value what you provide more than they value you. Not to condemn the heart. You cannot see the heart. Not to make a public case, not to wait for revenge. To learn the difference between being trusted and being consumed. Watch the 3rd sign closely. It is the one that hides behind your own goodness. Let us begin. Before the 1st sign, understand the ground beneath all 7. Being needed is not an insult. A strong door is knocked on more often than a weak one. A steady hand is reached for more often than a shaking one. A person who can listen, carry, repair, advise, or remain calm when others panic will naturally become a place people turn toward. That is not a curse, it is a trust. The mistake begins when you confuse trust with ownership. Someone may benefit from your strength. That does not mean they own it. Someone may need your time. That does not mean every hour is theirs. Someone may rely on your kindness. That does not turn kindness into a debt you must pay forever. Imagine a gate in an old city wall. The gate opens, travelers pass, goods enter. Help moves through it. The value of the gate is not that it never closes. The value is that it opens at the right time and closes at the right time. A gate that never closes is not generous, it is abandoned. That is the balance this video is about. Not a locked heart, not an open gate with no guard. Clear sight, measured action, a warm hand that still knows when to return to its side. And remember this, one bad day proves little, one forgotten message proves little, one request proves little. What matters is repetition. The same approach, the same taking, the same silence afterward. A pattern is not a window into the soul. It is evidence about the relationship in front of you. You do not need to know every hidden motive to decide what access repeated conduct should receive. That is not cruelty. That is judgment in its proper place. So keep the good opinion where you can, but do not use a good opinion as a blindfold. Mercy does not require blindness. Sign 1. They remember you when the machine breaks. Imagine a craftsman at the edge of a town. He repairs wheels. All year, people pass his workshop without looking in. They walk by his door. They do not ask his name. They do not stop for conversation. Then an axle snaps on the road. Now they know exactly where he is. They arrive breathless. They praise his skill. They call him their friend. They speak of how much they trust him. The wheel is repaired, the cart leaves, and the road becomes quiet again. That is the first sign. They do not return to you. They return to the function you perform. The greeting arrives only when something is already broken. Hey, stranger. It has been too long. You are the only person I can ask. Notice the sequence: warmth, then need, then silence, again and again. Now be fair. A person may genuinely be overwhelmed. A person may feel embarrassed that they disappeared. A difficult season can make anyone poor at keeping contact. So do not judge the single visit. Watch the road. Does every return carry a task? Does the conversation end when the task ends? Do they remember your number only when life demands a repair? If so, stop asking only, do they like me? Ask the clearer question: what remains between us when there is nothing for me to solve? That question does not accuse, it reveals. And the next time the request arrives, do not punish them, do not become sarcastic, do not make them beg. Simply slow the moment down. Listen, look at the pattern, then choose your answer as if the sudden warmth were not there, because the warmth may be real in that moment. But a moment of warmth is not the same as a bond that remains. Here is the direct move. Before saying yes, ask yourself whether you would still say yes if the greeting had been plain. No praise, no flattery, no sudden closeness, just the request. If the answer changes when the decoration is removed, the decoration was doing too much work. Real closeness does not need an emergency to stay alive. Sign 2. You speak and somehow disappear from your own sentence. Picture a long table in a stone courtyard. Two people sit across from each other. One begins to speak about a difficult week, a decision, a fear, something carried in silence for days. The other nods, waits for 3 breaths, then says, "That reminds me of what happened to me." And the road turns. Your story becomes their doorway. Your problem becomes their stage. Your sentence is still unfinished, but you are already listening again. This is the second sign. Every road in the conversation bends back to them, not once, not because one interruption proves anything, but so often that your life becomes a corridor through which they walk toward their own reflection. You know their conflicts, their deadlines, their wounds, their victories, the names of the people who irritate them, the details of what kept them awake. And what do they know about you? The parts connected to their need, the rest fades. Here is where people make a mistake. They think listening is always weakness. It is not. The person who can listen without fighting for the center has strength. But listening is not disappearing. Silence chosen with dignity is powerful. Silence forced by a relationship that never makes room for you is something else. So the next time the wheel turns too quickly, do not attack. Do not say, "You always make everything about yourself." Finish the sentence calmly. "Let me complete this thought," or "I want to finish what I was telling you." That small line does something important. It does not diagnose them. It does not humiliate them. It simply returns your life to the conversation. Then watch. Do they make room? Do they lean back in? Do they ask the question they skipped? Or do they become restless the moment they are no longer at the center? You do not need 10 arguments. One clear moment of space can show you how much room the relationship is willing to make. Remember the table. One person speaking forever does not create closeness. It creates an audience. A bond is not measured by how much they tell you. It is measured by whether your life is allowed to exist beside theirs. Sign 3. Your yes has become part of the furniture. Picture a hall where a lamp has burned every night for years. At first, people notice it. They are grateful for the light. They protect the flame from the wind. Then time passes. The lamp becomes ordinary. No one asks whether there is oil. No one asks who rises before dawn to light it. They only notice when the room is dark. That is what happens when your yes is always available. At the beginning they ask, they thank you. They know your help cost time. Then the language changes. You will handle it, right? I already told them you would come. You always help me with this. Your answer is placed into the plan before your voice enters the room. That is the third sign. Your generosity is no longer received, it is assumed. And this is where kind people become angry in silence. The mouth says yes. The chest says, "Did anyone even ask?" You tell yourself you do not need thanks. Good. A decent act should not require applause. But there is a difference between acting without needing praise and allowing another person to forget that a human being is carrying the cost. The danger is not only exhaustion. An automatic yes teaches the wrong lesson. It teaches people that your time does not need permission, that your energy has no edge, that your kindness appears on command. So the next time someone assigns before asking, do not explode. Return the decision to its proper place. Ask me first. I need to check before I agree. I have not said yes yet. Short, clean, no lecture, no anger. Those words do not destroy generosity, they restore it. Because a yes without freedom is not generosity. It is fear wearing a helpful face. And here is the direct challenge. Do not wait until resentment turns your kindness into bitterness. Make the yes visible before it becomes invisible. Let the other person see that it is chosen, not owed. Not automatic, chosen. A gift loses its meaning when someone starts clocking it in like your duty. If this is helping you see something more clearly, like the video and subscribe with the bell. Now, sign 4. Sign 4. Their warmth rises before the request and falls after it. Imagine a merchant in an old market. He sees a customer approaching with something he wants. His posture changes, his voice softens, he becomes generous with praise. He calls the customer wise, honorable, rare. The bargain is made, the thing changes hands, and the merchant's face becomes flat again. The warmth was real enough to be felt, but it had a direction. It was moving toward a result. That is the fourth sign. The temperature of the relationship changes with your usefulness. Before the request, they are sunlight. After the favor, they become distant. Then the next need appears, and the sun returns. Do not rush to declare that every smile was false. You cannot know that. A person may feel real warmth and still use it badly. A person may not even notice the timing. But whether they intend it or not, repeated warmth can begin to function like pressure. It pulls you close. It lowers your guard. It makes the request feel like proof of intimacy. Then the intimacy disappears when the request is complete. The mistake is to let intensity make the decision for you. Sudden closeness creates speed, and speed is where clarity disappears. So slow the scene. When the praise arrives, do not lean forward too quickly. When the request appears, do not answer inside the emotion they created. Say, "I will think about it. I will let you know." A healthy bond can survive the time it takes you to decide. A relationship built on pressure often needs the answer before your clarity returns. Picture the market again. The loudest merchant is not always the most honest. The brightest stall is not always the best. And the warmest voice before a bargain is not always the deepest bond. Trust what remains after the exchange. Trust what remains when there is nothing to obtain. Intensity is not intimacy. Steadiness is what stays after the need is gone. Sign 5. The bridge exists only when they are crossing it. Picture two men standing on opposite sides of a ravine. They agree to build a bridge. One begins placing stones, day after day. He carries weight. He measures the distance. He works while the other watches from the far side. Eventually, the bridge reaches across. The second man smiles, walks over, uses it whenever he wants, but he never places a stone. Then one day, the builder needs help. He calls across, and the other man is nowhere near the bridge. That is the fifth sign. The relationship shows its true shape the day you need something back. You answered at inconvenient hours. You changed plans. You listened. You helped. Then your own ground shifts. You ask for a fraction of what you gave. And suddenly the person who always found you during their crisis becomes difficult to find during yours. Be careful. One no proves little. A person may truly be unable to help. Mutuality is not a debt ledger. You do not help people, so they must return the exact favor on command. But inability can still contain care. I cannot come, but I will check on you tomorrow. I cannot solve it, but I can listen. I do not have what you need, but I will help you think. The sign is not that they failed to perform. The sign is that your need repeatedly receives less humanity than theirs. No concern, no return, no attempt. Only silence until the bridge is useful again. This realization hurts because it changes the past. You thought the bridge was shared. Now you see who built it. Do not let grief make you cruel, but do not let grief lie to you either. A structure carried by one person forever is not mutual. So here is the direct move. Stop adding new stones automatically. Let the bridge reveal whether anyone else is willing to build, not as punishment, as truth. A bridge used by two and built by one was never truly shared. Sign 6. You know their emergencies, but not their life. Picture a sealed chamber with a narrow opening in the wall. Messages pass through. Requests, problems, instructions. You send back time, effort, advice, help, but the door itself never opens. You are close enough to serve the room, never close enough to enter it. That is the 6th sign. You receive the parts of their life that require your function, the crisis, the confusion, the practical problem, but not the ordinary day, not the quiet thought, not the unremarkable moment that real closeness is built from. You may know their most urgent need and still not know who they are when nothing is happening. Why? You cannot know for certain. Perhaps they are private. Perhaps trust is difficult for them. Perhaps closeness feels costly. Any of that may be true. But the reason does not erase the shape. They remain guarded where mutuality would require something from them, and become open where your usefulness can enter. Again, privacy is not guilt. No one owes you complete access because you helped, but neither do you owe deep access to someone who repeatedly offers none. So stop giving the most private parts of yourself in the hope that confession will eventually purchase closeness. Share in proportion to proven trust. If someone keeps you at the doorway, do not keep handing them the keys to your inner rooms. That is not revenge, it is order. A city does not place every archive at the gate. A wise person does not give every truth to every listener. Here is the direct question. Am I known here or only used here? Do not answer from hope, answer from conduct. Closeness is not being contacted often. Closeness is being allowed to exist when no task is waiting. Sign 7. A single honest no changes the whole climate. Imagine a quiet room. A request is made. For years the answer has been yes. This time the person pauses, then says, "No, I cannot do that." Nothing dramatic, no insult, no raised voice, just a boundary. And suddenly the whole room changes. The warmth disappears, the face hardens, the old favors are dragged into the light. After everything? I thought I could count on you. It is only one thing. Now you see what the yes had been holding together. This is the 7th sign. A real no does not merely refuse a task. It reveals what the relationship believes it is owed. Do not manufacture the scene. Do not create a test. Life will bring a true no on its own. A time when you cannot lend, cannot come, cannot carry, cannot absorb one more consequence that is not yours. When that moment comes, say the answer clearly. Then watch what happens, not with triumph, not like a hunter waiting for a trap to close. Simply with attention. A person who respects you may feel disappointed, but your limit does not erase your humanity. An unhealthy arrangement often reacts as though access has been stolen. This is where many people abandon the truth. The silence afterward frightens them, so they send another message. Offer half the favor. Apologize for existing. Do not do that. You can be gentle without retreating. I understand this is difficult. I still cannot do it. That sentence is stronger than a long defense, because every extra explanation gives the other person something to argue with. The more words you offer, the more handles you place on the door. Say what is necessary, then let the answer stand. A healthy bond may dislike your no. It does not erase you because of it. Now the question that keeps people awake: why would someone do this? Especially someone you treated well. Do not rush to build a secret story about their heart. Perhaps they learn to approach every relationship through need. Perhaps they have been rescued so often that rescue feels normal. Perhaps they are afraid, immature, entitled, distracted, or simply unexamined. You may never know. And here is the deeper truth. You do not need to know every motive in order to act wisely. The court inside your head keeps asking for a confession. Why did you use me? Did any of it mean anything? Was the warmth real? Those questions may never receive an answer, and if your peace depends on the answer, the person still controls the room. So step away from the hidden motive. Return to the visible act. What happened? What repeated? What did your yes teach? What did their conduct show? What action is right now? This is not coldness. It is refusing to waste your life interrogating a door that will not open. And stop telling yourself one more sacrifice will purchase the relationship you wanted. Affection bought through usefulness must be bought again tomorrow. The price never ends. You cannot perform your way into being seen. You cannot rescue someone into becoming mutual. You cannot give so perfectly that another person loses the freedom to act badly. Your responsibility is not to force the heart. Your responsibility is to guard your conduct. That means 2 mistakes must be refused. Do not become hard toward everyone, and do not remain endlessly available to the same pattern. One is bitterness, the other is fear. The narrow path is clearer, eyes open, heart warm, hands deliberate. You do not need to know every motive. Repeated conduct is enough to decide your next step. Now, what not to do. Because once you see that you have been used, anger offers you a weapon. Expose them, embarrass them, wait until they need you again. Then smile and refuse. In imagination, the scene feels powerful, but look carefully. Before, they occupied your time through favors. Now they occupy it through revenge. You still wake thinking about them, still rehearse the speech, still build the case, still place them at the center. Only the costume has changed. This is why revenge is a poor form of freedom. It keeps the chain, it only paints it black. And every word spoken in anger is a knife placed into the hand of the conflict. The more you say, the more there is to twist. The more you explain, the more there is to attack. The more you announce, the more the scene belongs to them. So do not confuse silence with weakness. There are moments when truth must be spoken, records must be kept, money must be recovered through proper means, misconduct must be reported, safety must be protected. That is not revenge, that is responsibility. But responsibility speaks to the issue, revenge speaks to the wound. Responsibility wants the harm stopped, revenge wants the person humiliated. Know the difference, and where no formal action is needed, your cleanest exit may be very small. A shorter answer, a closed request. A quiet change in access. No speech, no performance, no final scene. Imagine a crowded room where one person is shouting accusations and another stands still, answers only what is necessary, and refuses the rest. Who appears more governed? Who appears more dangerous to provoke? Not the one making the most noise, the one who does not need the noise. You do not need them to fall. You only need to stop holding them up. So what do you do? 3 moves. First, slow the yes. Do not answer inside someone else's urgency. A request arrives. Pause. I will think about it. I need to check. I can answer tomorrow. That pause removes the pressure from the decision. It lets the warmth fade. It lets guilt settle. It lets you hear your actual capacity. Second, shorten the answer. When the answer is no, do not build a courtroom speech. I cannot do that. I am not available. I can help with this part, not the whole thing. A short answer is not rude when it is honest. The longer the defense, the more material the other person has to argue with. Say enough to be clear, not enough to enter a battle. Third, narrow the gate, not the whole world. Respond to the specific access being misused. If money is repeatedly mishandled, stop lending money. If midnight calls are abused, stop answering at midnight. If your private words are not protected, share less private information. If you are repeatedly made responsible for consequences that are not yours, stop accepting that responsibility. Do not turn one problem into a verdict on the entire person. Do not turn one video into permission for a drastic decision. Measure the response against the evidence. This is discipline, not softness without form, not hardness without mercy. And remember your rights. You may keep records. Speak truthfully. Ask for help. Recover what is owed through proper means. Leave danger. Protect your work. Protect your time. Patience is not permission to be exploited. Patience is steadiness while you do what is right without becoming unjust yourself. The final test is not whether they approve of your boundary. It is whether your boundary remains clean. No humiliation, no hidden punishment, no pride, no need to make them feel small, just order restored. Picture one last scene. A man stands before a loud accuser in a crowded square. The accusation is exaggerated. The crowd waits for panic, a flood of words, excuses, and desperate explanations. But the man does not answer every sentence. He corrects the one fact that matters. He states the one limit that must be stated. Then he becomes quiet. Why? Because not every thrown stone deserves a wall built around it. Not every accusation deserves an hour of your life. Not every demand earns a full defense. The same is true when someone is used to your automatic yes. They may call the boundary selfish. They may retell the history in a way that makes you the offender. Do not chase every sentence. Answer what is true. Correct what could cause real harm. Leave the rest without feeding it. A boundary becomes weak when it needs the other person's agreement in order to exist. You do not need agreement. You need clarity, fairness, and the discipline to remain inside what you said. The person who keeps speaking after the truth has been stated is not always becoming stronger. Sometimes they are only revealing that the truth did not move. Slow the yes. Shorten the answer. Narrow the gate. Now step back. Because this was never a lesson in becoming less useful. The world already has enough people who see a burden and look away. Enough people who hear a call for help and wait for someone else to answer. If you were given the ability to carry, then carry. If you can repair what is broken, repair it. If someone is lost and you know the road, show them. If a frightened person reaches for a steady hand, do not become proud of being difficult to reach. There is honor in being the one who arrives. There is honor in being dependable. There is honor in moving toward another person's hardship while everyone else is moving away. So do not let this video teach you to resent being needed. Do not become slower to help simply because someone once failed to appreciate it. Their ingratitude does not make generosity foolish. Their conduct does not change the value of a good deed. Whatever strength, time, knowledge, or ability you have was given to you as a trust. Use it well, and let the intention behind every good deed be sincere. Do not help so people will praise you, depend on you, or call you generous. Help for the sake of Allah. Then their gratitude is not the measure of what you did. If they thank you, be grateful. If they forget, Your intention was never tied to their applause. You were not serving their approval. You were seeking the pleasure of Allah. Be quick toward what is good. Be the hand that lifts. Be the voice that calms. Be the person who can be called when the road becomes difficult. But understand the difference between helping a person and helping a harmful pattern continue. Sometimes help means carrying the burden. Sometimes help means refusing to carry what another person must finally take responsibility for. Sometimes the generous answer is yes. Sometimes the honest answer is no. The question is not, how do I protect myself from ever being needed? The question is, what is the right thing to do with what was placed in my hands? So remain useful, remain generous. Answer the call when answering it is right. Do not count every favor. Do not wait for applause. Do not make gratitude the price of your kindness. But let your help serve what is good, not deception, injustice, laziness, or repeated harm. Rush toward the burden when you can truly lighten it, and step back only when carrying it would help the wrong thing grow. Do not become harder to reach. Become wiser about what your strength is helping. So here, at the end, is where the whole message was leading. Your worth was never handed to you by people. That is why no person has the power to take it away. Not the one who remembered you only when life broke. Not the one who praised your generosity while ignoring your exhaustion. Not the one who looked past your life and saw only what you could provide. Your value was set by the one who made you before anyone measured your usefulness. He does not raise it when people praise you. He does not lower it when they become cold after you say no. Every unthanked kindness, every quiet sacrifice, every burden you carried without applause, none of it was hidden from him. But listen carefully, so mercy does not become a trap. Being seen by him does not mean you must keep allowing harm. You may say no. You may guard what was entrusted to you. You may keep records. Seek help. Speak truth. Recover what is owed through what is right. Leave what is dangerous. Patience is not surrender. Kindness is not the absence of boundaries, and leaving revenge is not abandoning justice. The steadiness you need, the calm to step back without cruelty, the patience to hold a boundary while someone is disappointed, the strength to remain soft without returning to the same harm. You do not manufacture it from nothing. It was never yours to create independently. Willpower thins. Fear rises. Guilt returns. So ask him for help. Ask him for clarity when praise confuses you. Ask him for firmness when silence frightens you. Ask him to protect your heart from bitterness, pride, and the desire to humiliate. And whatever patience, wisdom, and steadiness you are granted, know that it is from him. These are gifts placed in your care. Your responsibility is to use them well, then leave the final account with him. You do not need to balance every scale with your own hands. Nothing escapes his knowledge. His justice is perfect. Your sharpest plan for revenge could never equal it. And you cannot guarantee the condition of any heart, not theirs, and not even your own. So ask him to keep yours sincere, firm without pride, soft without carelessness, generous without fear. Then do your part. See the pattern without claiming to know every hidden intention. Set the boundary without humiliation. Give where giving is right. Close only the access that is being abused. Speak where truth and protection require speech. Remain quiet where speech would serve only anger and pride. And when someone treats your usefulness as if it were the whole of you, remember what they failed to see. They knew what you could do. He knew you completely. So walk lighter now, not because nothing happened, not because it did not hurt, not because every wrong has already been corrected before your eyes. Walk lighter because you no longer need another person's need, gratitude, apology, affection, or downfall to tell you who you are. Do what is right. Guard what was entrusted to you. Remain grateful for the ability to help, and leave the final account where it has always belonged.